Okay, so I'm getting used to all this. So that's why I'm making a lot of videos today because, um, well, as many as I can make today because I'm getting used to this new thing that YouTube is doing, right? And and plus I just want to do this while it's all in my head and my spirit to do. Okay. Now, welcome to Experienced Artistic Consultants. Uh, it's so much to talk about in this on this topic. I'm so excited. I know this is my excitement look. Okay. Uh, and yeah, if anybody out there, if you catch this live and all that, or even afterwards, and you say, "Wow, she looks a little bit like Whoopi Goldberg," it is what it is. Okay. Don't get used to, I change up, I decorate myself and all this kind of stuff. It's part of my artistic being. I embrace it. Hopefully you will too, right? I'm looking to make a lot of friends because one of the goals and objectives of this channel is to help 1 million, right? 1 million creative souls, all right, to achieve their perspective of success because we all know that or we should embrace and just accept the fact that success is different for everybody. And there's that same freaking fly, or it must be a relative or something. I mean, I live in a part of the neck of the woods where it is what it is. Hey, we have lizards, frogs, snakes, rabbits, coons, possums, all that good stuff. But it's also a lot of beautiful things to see. So yeah, it's one of the things that I really want to stress on this channel for sure is that for sure I'm not going anywhere. So I'm just gonna if you just bear with me, um because it's important that I find how the over 20 something years of artistic experience, that I have, I want to use it and I want to make it available for people, that um, are starting out in the arts, right? Whether it be an individual or a business, and to help them uh, to reach their success, right? And as a consultant, I can do that. I know I can do it. I've done it before. I have a great track record, believe it or not. But you can always Google my name, Katie Flowers, and um, look me up on LinkedIn, and join my over 2,000 organic, okay, followers there, because I used to write a lot. I'm going to go back into writing also. But I tell you what, YouTube is the bomb, and Facebook, anywhere we can find our platforms where we can find, I would say, similar minds, right? Great minds, if you want to brag a little bit. I don't know. Okay, so this particular segment is the five. I cannot believe it. He does that every time. Even when I'm like, I'm going to bed. I'm going to sleep. And one of them would happen to just like over my head. Really? As soon as you open the door. But I'm not going to go there, okay? Because if I did, I could go all day. But they don't know their lives are in danger every time they enter and follow me in that door. Okay. So, all right. So these are very real challenges that every artist face. Okay, and of course I have my notes. I'm probably going to always have my notes, and as we go along, though, I'll get more comfortable. You'll get comfortable with me. We'll have guest speakers that will help us, um, and I can take a break and just get out of the way, and you can concentrate on them. All right. But in the meantime, it's just you and I. Hello. So the what we're going to talk about today is 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 something that all artists deal with, and it doesn't really matter where you are along your artistic venture, right? These are things that are, the word comes antagonistic, you know. Um, it, it just really becomes a pain in the butt. But I'm going to offer you some suggestions along the way as well as we go through them. So there's only five, so it shouldn't take too long to do this. Okay, so if you bear with me, and that'll be great. And subscribe if you find that what this channel is offering so far. Subscribe to it, share it, because there are other uh, sources out here, other artists that could actually use it. And I know if someone had told me the things that I'm sharing with you today, I believe I would be much farther down the line, and I wouldn't be sharing too much space with flies and lizards and frogs and snakes. Anyway, it happens. But honestly, I couldn't have made a better move for myself, to be honest with you. I enjoy where I am. So, because it's very quiet, and I enjoy it. So that's my perspective of my success. All right. So the first one is getting and staying inspired. We all have that um, problem at one point or another, being um, trying to be a creative in this world. We just deal with that. All right. So what I have here, I'm going to read some of it, and then I'll try to um, kind of like paraphrase what I said if I need to. So number one, and these are not, once again, in any type of particular order, okay, of importance. They are just important, period. Okay, so getting and staying inspired. So what it is that we, especially those of us that have family and we have to work and all that kind of good stuff, so we get bogged down, right, by all the like daily needs and wants and desires of others, from self to family, to job. Um, and so we wear a lot of hats, right? And so many of us were raised to, I know I was, like, you want to be an artist? Okay, well, that's for rich white people, and especially rich white men. And so you need to find you a job, and a job where you could rise up the corporate ladder and all that kind of good stuff. Well, I tried that, and it just doesn't work for me. Once again, I I'm in my early 50s now. So, but earlier, when I first started out in this idea of wanting to be an artist, I had to deal with um, my parents. They were middle class people, and they really did as much as they could, I imagine, do with the understanding of how to raise a child. So they never did find the manual for me. And I don't hold that against them, neither do I hold it against Dr. Spock. So anyway, uh, yeah, so it's when we start to think about all these things that are usually pulling us, like our jobs and our family and our relationships and all of that. And so it takes up a good part of our day. It takes up a good part of a mass of our mind, right? And so a lot of times it leaves no room to be creative in the way that, you know, we were born to be creative. Everybody's different. It's like our iris or our fingerprints, we're all different and we're all here as part of a bigger tree, as a branch, right? And like, we really come here with a responsibility and accountability. But somewhere along the line, we kind of we miss that because of the way we've been taught and the way we've been programmed to think and the way we've been introduced to producing. And so, and eventually we end up being in this cookie cutter type of scenario, right? And uh, with creative spirits, which we're all creative spirits, right? Just like I said, some of us have been smothered. We smothered it. We downplay it. We work under fear of us not being successful. And depending on the family that you come from, right? It's like, I know with my family, and it still remains today, unfortunately. And I tried to get my kids out of that way of thinking, which is money, right? It's like, well, if you're not making any money, then you're not successful, right? Well, that's a twofold, because if you're in business and you're not making money, then you don't have a business. But if you are um, doing a thing because it uplifts your spirit, it inspires you, it inspires other people. Well, money really don't buy that. It can't. It can't buy the realness of that. So I hope that makes sense. Okay. Now, um, me personally, once again, I enjoy the process of creating. I enjoy the process, and then I can enjoy the byproduct. So on a personal level, what I create, right? I I can love it, and it becomes definitely one of my babies, right? Because I know what it took to create it, and it may just remain one of my personal babies, and no one perhaps ever have a feeling for it. And that's okay. Even though, honestly, I'm not bragging, but that seldom happens when I put the work out there, right? So now, um, where was I at with that? So when we want to get inspired, here are some things that we can actually do to inspire the process. All right. And to get the juices flowing and all that kind of good stuff, and get those, get that positive vibe, you know. All right. So, oh my goodness. Okay. So, and you know what, too? Let me say this also. I like going live like this because I want you to know that I'm a person, and I like growing organically. I like doing things and having them to um, come about um, authentically, right? That's important to me, and you have to find your own value and all that kind of stuff along the way with whatever you do. Okay, so now when we are looking for inspiration, we want to um, take advantage of whatever sensory we have, right? So this is the creative spirit at work. And subconsciously, we're always creating, right? Subconsciously, we're always creating in our head, right? And so with as a visual artist, or someone who writes, someone who whatever it is, poetry, literature, music, whatever, you know we kind of live in our head, right? And so when we get bogged down with external sources, we tend to shut that part down, and we are not attentive to that part. Now, that's a very real part of us, and we are never happy or content, complacent, even that, when we neglect that creative part of us, because it has to come out. It's energy, it's just a bundle of freaking energy that needs to come freaking out. Hallelujah. Yes. And so if you have ever been, I call it ar- um, artistic constipation, right? But some people have a better, name for it, and it could be artist block, writer's block. You know, so this is what happens when we're looking for inspiration. And so, in order to find inspiration, a lot of times we may have to do some things. So, here's a suggestion: here is to travel the internet. The internet is marvelous, is powerful, is wonderful. I don't care what anybody says. You can use it for the good, or you can use it for the bad. And so the way in which I have used the internet for a while now is, I will just Google perhaps a feeling, right? If I'm feeling emotionally sad, or if I'm feeling angry, I will Google that, and I will search the images. Okay. And sometimes the images will, um, it will connect or resonate, right? It'll resonate with how I'm feeling right now. So then I'll get my sketch out, and I'm sketching that, and I'm going to make it mine. I'm going to make that image mine, because I'm going to tweak it, and I'm going to mess around with it, and paint it, or whatever the creative process goes. I'm going to do that, and it's going to be. It usually turns out really well, beyond what I thought it would. Okay, so that's just enough. That's just a way of getting some type of inspiration, and to get that creative juices flowing, right? Um, Take a walk outside. I know that there is this, we're still yet dealing with this pandemic, and there's this social distancing. But I've seen some artists on Facebook, a group that I'm a part of, and it's called Working Artists, and their work is outstanding. And I feel kind of coy putting my work out there, but anyway, they are very. I highly suggest getting involved in, as many social creative groups that you can, right? Where you can show your work, and you can also see work. Anyway, um, going outside, you know, um, just one assignment that I would give my students, and especially my adult students, um, especially during the summertime, because that's usually when I hold these classes and stuff with adults, and or spring, and we would go outside just for a few seconds. Nobody's taking no sketchbook. We're just taking our eyes and our feelings through touch or smell. Okay. And we're taking it all in the moment. You'd be surprised what these sensories pick up while you're out there, right? And just observe, And if something catches your eye, really pay attention to it. You know, uh, just pay attention to what it's doing or not doing, whatever, right? And so that would take about a good 50, I think about 10, 15 minutes, and we do that. It could be even a tree. I've seen them do trees or whatever. I mean, I've done that myself because sometimes trees are 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 mystical looking, you know. So anyway, you come back in from that little stroll, and now your assignment to yourself is to draw a picture of what you remembered, right? Draw a picture of that, and you have artist right. Remember that you have artist right. Your artist right is to or artist license, should I say, is to um, you can add and you can take away. You can change a color. Who says you can't have a purple cow? You know, you can have a purple cow. It's your cow. You created it. You can do what you want to do with it, right? It's not hurting anybody. Um, if it does, I always say look away. You don't have to look at it. But just this is just some things, suggestive things that we can do to strengthen our inspiration. At moments that we feel depleted of them. So now, or you can take your sketchbook with you, right? And you can just sketch the quick sketches. Another assignment that I would give to my students is to do quick sketches. I would have a model sometimes if we're fortunate to have a model, or sometimes I would be the model, or I would pick a student who is willing to become the model, right? But either way, you can find people moving around most times. Okay, go to an area where you can see people kind of moving. Do some quick 3-second sketches, just real quick, just sketch it out. Okay, um, that's doing a lot for your skills as well as you go along too, right? Um, let's see. Uh, oh, and that work that you disregarded, right? You got frustrated at it and you just put it away. Bring it back out. Bring it might be time to bring that work back out and work on it some more. Okay. if you find yourself getting frustrated by doing so, well, uh, put it away. Simple as that. Excuse me. Um, Now, also, I suggest with works that we want to disregard, don't tear your work up. Don't tear that work up. That don't do that. Even if you feel like it's a piece of crap. You know what I'm saying? Don't tear it up. Put it away. Put it away. Develop a crap file. Okay? Because what I found is I can go back into that crap file, pull out something or some things, and use it as a collage, right? I can create a collage from that. And from that collage, I actually have created paintings, meaningful stuff as well. So there are ways that you can use that disregarded work, and turn it into, it's like recycling, right? It's like recycling the work. Awesome. Um, let's see. So, invest in some creative books. You can go on Amazon, and they have a great collection of creative works, writings and stuff like that. But one, well, she made 2 books, and but I love her. I love, I love, I simply love this woman's mind. And this is Dr. Betty Edwards. A lot of artists depending on where you are within your artistic career. You've either read her or heard about her. Uh, but I suggest that you get her books, right? She made two, and it's called Drawing from the left side of the brain, or the right side of the brain. It's been a minute, but I remember I read that book so much. The first one that she comes out with, I read that book so much until it was just tearing up. It was crazy. I even enjoyed the assignments. Okay. And so I would highly suggest to look into Dr. Betty Edwards. You can find her online, Google, and just check her out. She's awesome. She really gives you some insight on yourself as an artistic or creative person, and um, she's very kind in the way um, she delivers her message. That everybody's a creative. It's just how to get them to create and to believe in themselves. So she does a really awesome job. She even does that with businesses too. It's awesome. Anyway, moving on. Um, Now, this is an assignment that I give to all levels of the students that I have the privilege to be in front of, right? So I try to draw what you're feeling. And this is one of the things that Dr. Betty Edwards offers in her book. So I really got the idea from her, and I just tweaked the idea. But you can use like blotches of color, right, to help you um, express yourself at that time. Where it could be anger, it could be illness, it can be whatever, joy, any of that, anything that's any feeling, you can learn how to express that. And I like to use colors to do it, because colors have a way of connecting with the spirit, so to speak, right? Colors have a way of doing that, right? So when we see red, we usually think about pain, we think about blood, we think about power, right? We see purple, we think about royalty. You see yellow, you think joy, and things like that. Yeah, okay. And so doing these particular assignments, um, you also learn how to communicate, right? You learn how to communicate feelings and emotions, right? And so, because like you've ever seen a picture where, I'm sure you have, where the artist actually depict cold, like the weather is cold out, or there's you can tell that the atmosphere is hot or damp, or there's a sadness, or there's a calmliness, or there's so you can actually learn how to express that in your actual artwork along the way. But it's also a way to inspire you to create, right? So you may not like everything that you create, and that's fine, right? Um, but the idea is to have things to help get you started, to help get your mind in that mind frame to to create, right? Okay. So let's see. Oh, this is one I do for myself. Um, and I also encourage my adult students to do it as well. And that is at your worst time, challenge yourself with a challenge, you know. Yeah, let me explain. Let me explain. Okay. Creative task begins to begin working on something that you figure you're not good at, right? So, okay, I don't consider myself really good at portraits, because I tend to um, draw the um, the aura or the spirit of the person that I pick up on, and depending on the person, sometimes they may not like that. You know, I may pick up, that they're always frowning, or I may pick up that they have a big smile, but they're not really letting that big smile go. They're not really showing it for whatever reason. And so I just don't do portraits. But I would challenge myself every now and then, especially when I'm looking for inspiration. Um, I would challenge myself at doing something that I've told myself I'm not good at, right? And a lot of times when we do that subconsciously, it's like we're going to do better than we're actually going to do better than we thought, okay? Because we're letting go of this idea that I'm producing for somebody, right? And it's really weird. You just have to try it. It's like just challenge yourself to create something at that time, right? When you're feeling uninspired, or if you're feeling pissed off about something or whatever, just challenge yourself to do something in a genre that you've told yourself you're just not good at. And you'd be surprised at what you come out with, because you're not holding on to anything. You're not your expectations are very low at this point, right? And so you end up producing something much better than you ever even thought you would. And once again, it's part of your practice, right? So you're just merely practicing, as you should do anyway. All right. So what else? Speaking of that, invest in your time, right? Put aside, like 10 minutes if you can. Find 10 minutes. Hell, take your sketchbook in there on the toilet with you. I mean, really, I'm serious about that. Just take a minute and just, sketch some stuff, design something. I don't know, but do something, even if it's a sketch or like a doodle, whatever, but invest in your time. That's you investing in your time. There's nothing wrong with giving yourself 10 minutes, you know. My goodness, really. All right. And, just start. Sometimes we just have to start. Sometimes we just have to, when we're looking at that blank canvas, you just take that brush, right? I like to do pens. I like to work with pens. Um, rulers. I have my brushes and stuff. I have cheap brushes. I have expensive brushes, whatever. Anyway, I just grab something, and something that I can get my idea out on, and I just start. Okay, and allow myself to just go with it. So it's amazing. I have sold doodles, right? Um, the last doodle that I sold is called the Abstract Cow, and it was like on a 18 by 24 canvas, and I just went. I don't know. I was in a moment, and I just doodled. I just kind of scribbled, what I say, big loops and all of that, and I just kind of like let the energy flow, right, and um, and then I added paint to it, right. And the next thing I know, I'm like, do you see the cow? I actually see a cow. So I always encourage doodling and scribble and go where because it's part of your energy. And something is always going to come up out of it, believe it or not. Then, all right. So two, you want to keep up with your talent. once again, I stress this all the time, which means practice, practice, practice. Okay. So you want to take a class where you can take a class, teach a class if you teach classes, volunteer. Okay. Volunteer. It's awesome to volunteer, believe it or not. You end up opening up a lot of doors, and your reputation sometimes, it goes before you along that route when you do those things. When you volunteer and you do a great job, you treat it like it is paying you, because it's an investment, and in the long run, it's going to pay off. Okay, all right, and then I believe this is three. So trust yourself, right? You want to trust yourself. Um, as artists, we do influence others, okay? Um, we influence others conceptually, we influence um, others in such a worldly way, right? Politically, we can influence others. People wear statements all the time. We wear t-shirts that make a statement. Um, we um, we design things all the time, right? I mean, this really, when you look at it, then the whole world um, owes a lot to its artist, right? From building designs, car designs, clothing, food, music. It is what it is. So what type of world would it be, right, without artists? So art, I would say, earth without art is just I think that's how they go. Might have messed that up too, but anyway, hopefully you get that. Okay, let's see. Now, another thing with the trust yourself is, you know, the struggle is real. I'm not here to tell you that the struggle is not real. Some of us have it a little bit easier than others, but for the most part, when you are out here trying to be inspired to create your work and actually come up with something that's viable, right? That's seemingly viable, whatever. I mean, that's a challenge. It just is what it is. But you have to have faith in yourself. You have to have faith in power bigger than you, you know, the creator of heaven and earth and all therein. The two of you together, you know, it creates type of uh, a solid type of secured bond, right? It's like you have to believe. I don't believe in luck. Okay, I'm putting that out there now. I do not believe in luck. No. I believe in destiny. I believe in faith or fate. I believe that things happen for a reason. Um, I believe that we're all connected some type of way, right? From this bigger tree, right? We're all like limbs. We all have a department. We all play a part. And the problem is that a lot of us don't discover what part we play. And so our branches end up falling off, and we end up, part of just the dust. I don't know if I'm expressing that right, but it's sad, right? Because what happens is we end up dying, right? Even if we don't die to the point of being 6 feet under, we die um, in such a personal way, right? It's like we get depressed, um, we find ourselves lost and wondering continuously, regardless of age, what we what were we here for, right? And so honestly, the thing with these steps or these suggestions is is to get you to a point where you're feeling good about yourself, and and you eventually learn how to use your knowledge, your skills, you know, your experiences to get you to a place of success, as well as help other people to get there. It takes time, it takes patience, but once again, you can get all this stuff and not apply it and remain where you are, right? If you're happy with that. But most likely, if you're here watching this, you're not happy with where you are, and and somehow you've gotten stuck. So you want to get unstuck, and that's nobody's problem really, but your own. So you can um, obtain all of this good stuff, and there's a lot of good stuff on, you know, the internet that can help you. But if you don't take it and do something with it yourself, it ain't going to happen. You're just going to remain where you are because, once again, self esteem comes from you, and you have to be the one to create that. I don't know. I just went there. Okay. Probably like, where did she go all there? I hope that makes sense. Okay. But you do have to trust yourself, and trust that the creator created you for a reason, right? All right. Um, so now I have this is number 3 coming up. All right. So anyway, stop being tossed to and fro by, by all of the what you can and what you cannot do, what you should and what you shouldn't do. All it's a lot of censorship out here. Censorship has been out for a long time, but you also have, um, you know, television. Um, it's just a whole lot of stuff coming at us, and a lot of times it's coming at you and it's telling you, don't do this, don't do that. This is the way you should do this. One size does not fit all. It never has. It never freaking will. It just don't. We come in too many sizes, right? So, um, yeah, be true to yourself. You know, find, discover who you are and let that shine. you know, let that let that happen. Let that be a process, part of your process, um, to to your success. It has to be. You can't. We're you don't want to live in like this cookie cutter type of world. It does not work for artists, right? Because we are creatives. We build. We construct. We present. You know, new stuff, right? And so to not be able to do that is just another way of death. It's just another way of death, and that ain't what you want. I don't think. I hope not. Okay. So lastly, the power of persistence. Keep at it. Keep at it. Okay. It doesn't matter. It's like being on a diet, right? It's like, if you go on a diet today and you decide, I don't want to go on a diet today. Well, I don't know if that's, no, I don't really want to use that as an analogy, but um, I've used that before. It went out. Anyway, just keep at it, right? It's like, just do it. Don't be afraid, to be you. don't be afraid to ignore other people, shut them out, right? Because we're all different and we all owe one another that gift. You know, you owe that. You owe that. You owe that because you were born. So to not to not feed into it, to not give it life, you know, is something wrong with that. Is something very, very wrong with that. And you'll never really live out your whole purpose without expressing that. It's a sad way to die, even if it ain't 6 feet under, right? Okay, so um moving on, and I'm just throwing this out here. Pay attention to promises we make to people, right? Because once again, our reputation is all that we have. And so most of us, I know I do. I'd rather be known, leaving behind a pleasant reputation, right? And so when we make promises to people, and this is so important, I don't care what it is, and especially when it comes down to building ourselves as a brand, getting ourselves known as artists. You want to keep your word to people. And I think we talked about that in contracts and stuff like that in an earlier video. When you do contracts, you want to abide by it, have some integrity, you know, um, keep your word. Simple as that. And be humble, you know. I've seen some extraordinary artists. I know that there are some artists out here that they just blow my mind. And jealous of them? No, no, because I already know and I'm happy about where I fit in, right? And I'm happy about examining and exploring um, more ways that I can assist, more ways that my gift and my knowledge can add and leave a footprint, you know, on this earth that I was here. And that says a lot for anybody, and especially an artist. So, all right, with that, that's the end, and I hope you get something out of that. Please leave your commentaries, help out, add some stuff there. We can definitely use it, and share this channel and all that good stuff. And look forward to my website. I'm working on that right now. Um, I think that's it. All right. All right. So in the meantime, best creative regards, and stay humble and get creative, and don't let nobody stop you. Bye. Till next time.